Hi, I'm Nick and I like comics.
And I'm Adam and I know comics.
Welcome to another episode of Adam and Nick Spoil Some Comics, where we spoil some comics. And today we have a special guest with us, Mr. Kyle.
Hi, I'm Kyle. I'm a frequent commenter on the Batman and Robin Eternal spoiler casts. And I'm pretty sure they just figured they were going to hear from me anyway, so they might as well just have me on now.
Right, so if you comment on our stuff, we might bring you in to be on the episode. But probably only if we know you in real life and you live in Wichita. Because that's where we live.
Pretty much. If you drove yourself here, we'll let you in.
Okay.
And bang on the door a few times. And...
Let me in!
Today we're talking about Batman and Robin Eternal number 10, with the script by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly, and Roger Antonio and Geraldo Borges on art.
So this issue starts off where the last one left off, where the guys, Bane, Jason Todd, and Tim Drake are in the Order of St. Dumas Church, and Azrael is standing there, and he asks them the question, "You came to this place seeking death?" Like, who does that, I guess? I don't know. You guys come here want to die, and...
He rehearsed that ahead of time.
yeah, definitely. He rehearsed that. So then Jason Todd and Tim Drake are trying to figure out who this guy is. Tim is scanning him with his...
Domino mask?
Yeah, really. That's he's
really
holding
high
his,
tech.
Yeah, he's scanning him. Jason turns around. And he's like, "Oh no, guys, the holy rollers are coming," which is pretty funny. You know, these guys in their religious priestly outfits, whatever. And then Bane kind of makes this comment of, he's like, "Hey, whenever I was in prison, people would pray for the God of mercy, and actually they were praying for Bane to come murder them," you know. And then he jumps up and he tries to kick the snot out of Azrael.
Just another quick thing on the domino mask. I would love it if one of the other characters got a hold of the domino mask and put it on. They're like, "It's just a regular domino mask." It's like, I don't see anything going on with this.
So then Bane is fighting Azrael. He's getting his arms whacked up by fire swords. These holy roller priest guys are shooting fireballs out of these little, like, cross things.
Yeah, that always...
The power of something compels you.
Well, that always bugs me when they do that. I mean, I guess it's a really distinctly superhero thing, like with Joker's face on the helicopter, or, you know, Batman's face on, like, everything he owns. But I just think, like, when they have, like, a tech, you know, like a piece of weaponry, you know, a high-tech kind of piece of weaponry, and they just make it look like something like that, you know, like a mystical kind of thing. For some reason, it shouldn't bother me as much as it does. But, like, 'cause I don't mind other things, but this kind of thing, for some reason, it just...
Would you feel better if they just said it was just magic that they were using?
Yeah, actually, I would. I would actually...
Fireball out of my hand instead of fireball out of a...
Yeah, I mean, like, he's got, like, they could have, like, a little flamethrower.
Right.
You know.
The fight continues. Bane is fighting Azrael. He actually grabs his flame sword, you know, with his hands, and his hands don't get burned up or cut off, which is cool, I guess. And then Azrael goes and he whacks Bane's tubes on his back that have the venom that goes and makes him really big and really strong. Bane says, "Your reign ends tonight, fallen angel." You know, this idea of, oh, you were in heaven and now you're in hell, or, you know, you wherever. And Azrael says, "I did not fall, I was sent." Which is kind of a cool and creepy line.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
So just he feels he has this divine mandate, you know, and everything.
Mm-hmm. Bane makes a comment of, "Hey, I'm gonna rip that sword out of your hand, and then I'll be able to take you out." And then Azrael basically says, "I have the power to make you see basically what you need to see, you know, stuff that you're totally missing." And then Azrael touches him on the head, and it shows that Bane sees this angel with a fire sword kind of thing, and he just totally loses it, and he totally freaks out. And as Jason and Tim run away, Bane says, "I see it now. I was so wrong."
So Tim and Jason are running down this Tron-looking hallway fighting off, as we commented earlier, Star Wars-looking droids. When Jason's like, "Hey, let's go back and beat up some more monks. That'd be pretty fun." And
Holy
Tim's
rollers.
Like, holy rollers, right. Tim's like, "Homicide."
Holy rollers, Batman.
Tim responds, "Homicide to the point of suicide. No wonder you're everyone's least favorite Robin." Probably the best line in the whole comic.
I guess this continues that kind of merging of, like, the mystical, you know, spiritual with the technological thing, because they were in a church, but then it's kind of like now there's these, yeah, they're going through this really, like techie looking hallway, and they're fighting what look like, you know, Star Wars probe droids, and you know, I don't know. So I guess like that, I kind of feel like, oh, I see what they're going for with that Ankh thing that they were doing before, but I don't know.
So Jason comments about how they're lost, they don't have a map, and he's about out of ammo, and he's running out of ideas, and Tim just says, I'm never out of ideas. I'm so smart. La-di-da-di-da.
Oh, what are you gonna do? Hack into it? Or
Nerd skills for life, he says. So Tim looks up and sees this tube of sorts, and they grapple hook up to find another Ankh, where they're getting some sort of power reading off of it, some knowledge eternal, and I thought the architecture was dramatic. Tim tells Jason, take my computer, go hack into this thing. I'm gonna go stop them from coming through the door since you're out of bullets and you're, you know, useless without a gun.
Which is really weird considering, you know, Tim is one of the foremost computer hacker people in the DC universe, and he's like, oh, here, you don't have any bullets, so you're useless. Why don't you go hack into
It's
this?
not like
take
Jason,
this,
right, it's not like Jason can't kick butt with his bare hands. So.
Right, exactly. And those like 4-foot blades that can, you know, come out of his haunches.
Right.
Is that what they're called? I don't know.
Yeah.
Forearms.
The Tim Drake Jason Todd thing, like with Jason Todd doing the hacking out of those two guys, it just makes me think of like if I was teamed up with Michael Jordan, who's like, hey, one of us has to play basketball 1-on-1 here. Hey, you do that. I'll take care of this.
Right. That's totally what it is.
Next scene, we see Cyclops crash through the window.
I see what you did there.
Right? And some random hacker lingo is shouted while they get into hacking this Ankh-styled computer. Tim Drake fights. It's really dumb. I don't even know what to say. Like, it's so lame. Step 1, the Red Root exploit. Upload and activate. Got it. We're connected to your Robin's Nest. I don't know what just happened. That's like Felicity on Arrow going click 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 click. I'm working here, guys. Click 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 click. click.
When does she ever gets tired of doing those scenes?
Right?
Right. What they are doing here is they are looking for ways, trying to figure out how this church and the mother and Prague, like all this stuff is connected. That's really what they're looking for. So Tim tells Jason as he's hacking the computer, look for the money, follow the money, figure out, you know, where it's going. And as they're doing that, Jason says, gotcha, as this guy is jumping out of the air to stab him or something, maybe? I don't know. Fight continues, and then they pull up the screen on the computer and they find some interesting stuff.
They follow the financial records to see where they've been spending money. And check it out. There's a transaction record between the order and a shell company in Prague. Back in Prague again. So obviously we're assuming it's the mother. No cash, though. A trade of assets. The order handed over something called Project Ichthys. I don't know what Ichthys is. It sounds Greek.
In Greek, ichthus means fish.
Project Fish.
But this is ichthys, not ichthus.
So
I don't know what ichthys
I don't
is.
know.
I'll look it up later.
He'll comment below later after we post the video.
As they continue to hack into this Ankh computer thing, they find out that the Azrael they ran into is actually Jean-Paul Valley. He has no date of birth, hospital records, education, or a passport. It's like he appeared out of thin air. They're assuming he's one of Mother's children. I say they're assuming because this is Tim saying it, so we don't know as for fact yet.
We then come back to Prague several years ago, wherever Bruce is walking into the Pragian Bat Cave, where all the skulls and bones and stuff are all over the place. And he sees Dick there with his forearm covered in blood.
I've been cutting myself.
My
I'm not
team-
good enough for Batman.
That's awful.
That's what it looks like. He's like,
I know.
and he walks in, he's like, what?
I mean, he's a boy wonder, you know, probably a teenager at the time. I don't know.
So angsty.
And so Bruce gets on to him for going out because I guess Dick was going to do some reconnaissance or whatever, and he ended up getting in a fight. And Bruce yells at him and is upset with him. But what's interesting about this, you know, Bruce coming in, is he has just gone to see the mother and gotten the snot kicked out of him. And he's yelling at Dick, you know, for going and off and doing the exact same thing that he was doing. And Bruce was like, take off that mask. This is not what the Robin program was designed for. It was for a support thing, not for you to go get yourself killed,
He's
basically.
like, but Dad.
Yeah, I mean, he slams his fist on the desk. He's like, but Dad, no, I've watched, I've learned, this is... And then he runs off, you know.
Get myself some more. Oh, man.
Oh. Anyway, then we see Bruce jumping through the city, flying how Batman flies, air quotes. Flying, right? Jumping from place to place, taking out some guys, trying to get back into the Mother. And in the last issue, in issue 9, whenever they were, together, the Mother basically said, "You need a new Robin, and I have the way to give you a new Robin." And then he leaves, and he's like, "No, that's not what I'm for." But now he comes back to her, and he says, "I'm ready to listen." It's like, ooh, what's
is he actually going to replace Dick, or is he just trying to find out more information?
I don't know. Yeah.
It's very
the
good.
idea of a tailor-made Robin is pretty interesting, though.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Especially if it might be Jason, since he's the huge screw up.
Yeah, that's what I was cutting. I thought that might be an interesting. Yeah.
That would be really interesting. We cut back to the present, and Tim is now fighting Azrael, and Azrael's like, "I know that the Dark Knight is dead, so who sent you guys? Why are you here?" And Tim's like, "Kind of late for 20 questions, dude." And then they just get in the fight, going back and forth. Tim's throwing batarangs. Azrael's, swinging his fire sword, and he rips his mask off, and he has this
terrible haircut. Yeah. For one. Oh, it's just awful.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of like a
Regrettable.
man bun. It's a man bun with a shaved sides. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. But then what Azrael does is he grabs Tim's face and just like smashes it or something, and then Tim has this crazy psychedelic vision.
Grant Morrison inspired if I ever saw something.
And this page is so cool.
Yeah, it's like is that his brain turning into the symbol here, and then
I mean, it's all sorts of stuff. It's this psychedelic thing, and he's gazing and he's in awe, and I don't know. It
must have been really cool to see, like, before they colored it and inked it too. Just the pencils must have been really interesting.
Yeah. But anyway, Tim is having some sort of realization, some sort of something is going on with him. And at that time, Jason comes in and he knocks out Azrael, punches him in the face, and he's picking up Tim. He's like, "It's time to go, it's time to go." And he pulls out shark repellent because that's a thing. Tim is saying, "We failed. No, Bruce." And as they jump out a window.
Again. They always jump out of windows or jump off rooftops in this comic where they just jump into oblivion.
Right. Breaking out of a window to go into the water with the shark repellent.
Yep.
Right. Tim, as they're falling, is saying, "We have failed Bruce." So whatever realization that he has come to the realization that they have failed Bruce. Azrael goes to the computer and he can see that they have figured out, who Jean-Paul Valley is, which we think is him, and we're pretty sure is him. And he looks really mad that they have figured this out. We then cut to Dick and Harper, who are following the trail of the those numbers and stuff that we saw in the last issue. They're going around, they're hacking computers, following the money,
beating up bad guys,
taking names, and they come to this island in British Columbia, and they find this house. And they're like, "Oh, this is just a house here," and they're wondering, do we take precaution? Do we go? No, it's just a house. So they walk right in, and there's this voice from off screen that says, "There's nothing for you to fear here, Harper Row." So, and she has this look of shock on her face, and then we see this woman, "Because I am the sculptor and I know everything about you, my sweet runaway girl," and the issue ends. Now, if you're curious about who this sculptor is, in issue 6, we saw a flashback of the mother, the orphan, and some other woman looking at this lady who was laying there on a table, and this was her, the sculptor. So we saw her actually 4 issues ago, but this is the first time that we actually figure out who she is.
Right. So this issue, man, it was like classic 90s style comics with bad haircuts and weird weapons that shoot lasers or fireballs or whatever. But the banter was good, and that made it still enjoyable for me. Also, the bad shark repellent's pretty funny. I think overall, I'd give this one... I think I'd give it a 3 Robin symbols out of 5. Because the banter was just good enough that it kept me enjoying it. The overall other stuff is, like very 90s-y, kind of detracts from it. But I think it's still pretty solid.
Yeah. Overall, like I've said, whenever I rate issues, I totally base it on my enjoyment factor. Like, it might be, I might know it's like a bad issue, but if I find something enjoyment, I'm probably going to rate it a little bit higher than maybe like Adam would, because I always rate stuff higher than Adam would. But I did like the banter. I'm really intrigued with what's going on in the past with Prague, with Dick and Bruce, with Batman and Robin and all of that stuff going on, and what's happening there. It's like, okay, I'm ready to listen to you, mother. What's going on. I really like it that they showed the sculptor like 4 issues ago, and now we're finding her. I really like when they set stuff up a few issues ago, to happen in the future. So overall, I would probably give this one a 3.5 out of 5 Batman symbols. Yes, there's definitely some stuff that was questionable, but overall, the banter was funny. Jason and Tim, I really like the relationship that they're building in this one. So yeah, I will give it a 3.5 out of 5 Batman symbols.
All right. Well,
special guest.
Yeah, this issue, I don't know. Overall, I liked it pretty well. It's still facing some of those, like, the kind of inherent problems that a weekly series might have, and that, like, is there enough material to stretch out, beyond all this time? And I don't know if it's just that I have a bad taste in my mouth still from issue 5, where Dick had that seemingly meaningless fight over at Tim Drake's parents' house. And I guess that makes me kind of think about the action in the comic. You have some parts where they're roughing up people to get out information, or they're shooting at, like these like probe droids or whatever, and that kind of thing. And to me, like, I understand that they have to have action to carry through the issue, keep people engaged. If you had an issue with no action, then you kind of feel like you're missing out on something that week. But still, it kind of like devalues the action a little bit. It's like, oh, it's just here kind of because it has to be. But overall, though, when we were talking about the shark repellent and that kind of thing, while it didn't work for me personally, I like the motif that they're going for. It's got that little bit of a cheese kind of quality to it. And this issue did have more content to it. We learned about Azrael. We learned, kind of what his deal is, and it's kind of cool introduction for him, and the fact that he and Bane were fighting when they have this kind of past and the past continuity kind of things where Azrael took down Bane. So I feel like it was still a good issue. I'd probably give it. That's why I'm giving it 3 out of 5 remorseful Bane faces.
So between the 3 of us, we give this issue a 9.5 out of 15. Or if you're just going off of what Adam and I say, it's a 6.5 out of 10.
So comment below what you thought of this issue, what you thought of this video, and if, like Kyle's comments, they're a little more involved than ours. Sheesh.
Right, he thinks on a deeper level than we do.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Anyway, comment below whatever you have to say about the issue or the episode. Like the video, and please share it. We want more views. And subscribe. And get your friends to subscribe. Seriously, more subscribers is great. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. But mostly Twitter, because that's all Nick uses.
Pretty much.
And I don't really use either.
No.
But I'm on there. So.
He is. So
anyway, until next time, we'll be reading more comics. And Nick will probably just keep it on. All right.
Is this funny yet?
It might resurge to be funny in a second.
Has it gotten to that point?
I don't know. Video's like long enough as it is.